Hello friends, Max is here with you and I do Palmistry, and today I would like to tell you a little bit about the shapes of the hands. A long time ago, at the beginning of the modern palmistry, uh, Monsieur d'Arpentini, he created the first, we can say, known to us palms or hand classification, and he told us about six or seven different types of hands, and till now it's used by many palmists or people who practice palmistry. mm, at least they're mentioning it in books, taking from one book to another. um, Looking at this, I would say it's very unpractical. You never see actually mm, hands that are related to those types, and many palmists they would agree with me, but still they will put in the books just as a part of the tradition, or I don't know why. But I would say those seven types, it doesn't work really. In last century, very nice, very interesting person, Fred Gettings. He was a palmist, he was a researcher, he was a scientist, and he was a writer, and most of all, I think he was a historian. Um, he proposed this classification based on elements, classification of the hands, and actually it was very practical, and many palmists they accepted. And right now I would say this is the modern classification that many of the palmists are using, and using it with confidence because it works. So basically he proposed to classify them based on elements: air, earth, fire, and water. And today I'll tell you a few words about each shape and the elements. So, element of earth, something solid, some like a ground, some like a fundamental. Um, let's say water here, oblong palm, long fingers. Water is fluid. Water doesn't have its own form. Water needs support. Most important, water connects. Air. Air is flying in the air. Air is, again, it kind of spreading the ideas, it's spreading the news, spreading rumors. It flies. It's unstable, yeah, but it is good for communication and for getting information. And then fire. Fire generates heat, generates ideas. Fire is moving engines, it moving so many things. So fire is interesting element. All right, so let's start from earth. Square palm, short fingers. Take a ruler and try to measure it, so your fingers will be same like a palm or even shorter than palm. Most probably shorter. Yeah. So yeah, sorry, not same with palms, it's just still shorter. So it's a strong and robust construction of the person. Physically, they might have digestive weaknesses of different kinds. Emotions are stable, usually well controlled. Strong sense of justice, this type of people have. What are they interested in? In gardening, in animals, in food and making food, and collecting some interesting stuff, especially related to the past. Old kind of antiques. They like craft. Usually they're responsible. They conscious about security and stability, and they have very strong family awareness. Now we'll talk few words about the water hands. About how often you can see the earth hands. They're not very rare. You can see them, and it depends where do you live, right, or where you want to look, which region. If you go to more into rural region, or yeah, out of town, people who works on land, people who live on farms, who work on farms, so you'll see this type of hands a lot. Yeah, builders, they will have many of them that have this type of things. You work with rocks, you work with stones, you work with particles of Mother Earth. This is the hand. All right, let's look at the water hand. Oblong palm, long fingers. If you measure fingers, take a measurement of the middle finger and compare with the palm. So it might not become exactly size of the palm, but it'll be reaching 75-80% of the palm. So water is very different. So as I say, water doesn't have its own form, it's fluid. Very often people have not very strong health, we can say poor health, potential kidney problems, potential spine problems. They're very sensitive, highly sensitive, they're sympathetic, they're delicate, they're romantic people. What kind of work or profession they would like to choose? They care for others, caring work, the arts, they like arts. Very often they think about spirituality and the work in the spiritual field. They often work for charities, charitable organizations. They like poetry, they like literature, music, drawing. They like psychic mysteries, and they really appreciate dreams, and they see the good dreams or interesting dreams that we can talk about. They are usually idealistic, imaginative, flexible, adaptable, and very often they have very strong intuition. All right. How often you can see this type of hands? Not very often, right? So you need to get into the right community of people, right? Spiritual healers maybe, or some mystic, of some maybe mystical artist. Yeah, that people who are interested in psychology, in helping other people, some charitable organizations. So this type of hands you'll see there. But again, it's not very often you would see pure water hand. Now fire. Oblong palm and shorter fingers. So usually this type of people have generally good, okay health. Potentially they might have heart problems. Usually they're excited, they're enthusiastic, they're demonstrative, they're outgoing, passionate. Often they're extrovert people. Where can you see them? What kind of profession? All type of management, business, industry, enterprise. Mm, they have interest in, you know, active entertainment, socializing, sport, challenges. Mm, that's what type of people they are. They're usually motivated. They're doers and achievers, and they're quite intense people most often. How often you could see this type of hand? Quite often. So if you look at the people around you, all your friends, relatives, um, yeah, I think that's majority of people will be fire, or some sort of fire, or mixture maybe of fire and earth. Yeah, so yeah, quite often you would see fire hand, doers and achievers, eh? All right, so next, air hand. Where's our air? This one. Square palm and long fingers. About health, usually it's moderate health. Uh, Nervous system, potentially nervous system can be a weak point for them. Um, Usually they are detached, impersonal, controlled, not very emotional. And what kind of profession, what would you like to do? I would say they're not very skilled, but they have lots of ideas. Um, they know how to do things. They will not do this themselves, but they will teach others how to do things, because of the long fingers. Eh? So you'll see them in teaching, in writing. You'll see them in politics. You will see them in journalism. So it's all ideas. It's information. Work with information, presenting the information the way, in unique way. Travel. They're traveling people. So they like reading. They like reading. They like writing. They like talking. They like languages. They like mental games. They like mental riddles. They like to find out things. So it's all about, mentality and games and tricks, themselves and others. So they're usually intellectual, independent, inventive, and they like to communicate. Yeah, where can you find these people? Yeah, you need to be dealing with this type of people, right? So it's a special circle of people. It's academic background, it's a politicians, it's a people who work with their mouth, I would say. Yeah, they're talkers. Uh, so this type of people. All right. So yeah, so that's enough for today, and we'll talk more later on about different qualities, about the skin and the skin qualities, and again we continue talking about elements. So just remember, yeah, earth, fire, water and air. That's four main elements that we'll be talking about, and how they are reflected in different levels, we can say, of hand signs. All right, that's it for now. Bye, guys.